In this video, we're going to learn how to create an AP invoice for a job without using a subcontract or a purchase order. So you can navigate using your system menu by going to 4.2, or you can click on the vendor icon at the top or the Sage desktop, which will also navigate you to 4.2, invoice credits. So here you would add you let Sage assign the record number. The invoice number should not be a duplicate, and you can set it up to where it won't allow duplicates. But for this demonstration, we're just going to type in the invoice number from the AP invoice. And you can see here the order number and the subcontract fields. However, this is an invoice that doesn't have either one of those things, but it is a job-related expense. So we are going to come down to the vendor and just choose a vendor at random. In this case, we're choosing Adams Fuel. And some of these things, like the cost account and the cost code, default from the vendor record. So we can see in this case we've got Adams Fuel selected. And then we are going to pick a job. So we're going to choose job 207 Wood Elementary School. Because again, this is an AP invoice that is a job expense, but it doesn't have a purchase order or subcontract. And then the description is somewhat important. You can add the description to be, it does show up on job cost reporting and and maybe in time and materials billing. So the description is kind of important. The invoice date defaults from the vendor record. However, it can be overwritten at any time. So we're just putting today's date in there. And then you'll notice as we enter through the dates and we come down to due date, it is calculating for us based on the vendor record. However, that can be updated. You could use the status if you were processing AP invoices for approval through here. We're going to jump down to the detail table, just adding the description from up above. This is just kind of a quick AP invoice. Quantity 1, put a price $500 in there. And you'll notice that Paul's Fuel actually defaults to an overhead account, which is a $6,000 account, but we want to put this to a job, so we have to force that by using a direct expense account or a cost of goods sold account, which is a $5,000 or a $50,000 account, depending on your company's specificities. So then you have your sub-account in this sample company that's necessary. And then we can pop up to the job costs, because this is a manual job costed record. If you were using purchase orders or subcontracts, then you wouldn't have to think about this step because those would already be assigned in the purchase order or subcontract. But this is how you job cost something manually. So we're just going to pick a cost code and a cost type. And you'll see that that $500 came from the background record, the master record. And you'll note that job ledger and ledger need to match in order to save this record. So you can see that in the background where the two match. Now if we save this record, it will just disappear and we have to recall it because it's saving it to the database. So once we do save and recall, so we will hit save, you will receive some errors that you should pay attention to, such as it doesn't belong in this budget or it's the wrong accounting period. You should always be posting things in the right accounting period based on the invoice date. So this should technically be posted in May of 2020. So I could change that up at the top right-hand corner by double-clicking on that little calendar icon with a number. I could change that to the appropriate accounting period. Most of your financial reports are based on accounting periods, not dates. So it's important that you get the AP invoices and all the transactions posted in the appropriate period. You can also see down at the bottom where it shows you which period you're going to post to. For this example, I'm going to say yes, because it's a sample company. We're going to recall it and just take a look at the job costs. So you can see I posted in period 6 of 2019, which is not correct in this particular case. And I'm going to look at the job cost just to make sure I've got the right cost code. So this is how you cost something to a job without a purchase order and a subcontract. Again, if you were using those two modules, this would default the information for you. If you wanted to attach a copy of the AP invoice, you could certainly do that by hitting the paperclip icon, browsing out to where the file was that you have saved on your server or your desktop. And you can attach all sorts of things, PDFs, pictures, documents, and say save. When you save and recall this record, then that image will be attached to the record inside of Sage. So click on the paperclip, and there it is.